Well. Happy New Year and all that jazz. Oh man. Okay, so it's a new year, it's a new time, it's a new, and all the new stuff and all that jazz. How you guys doing out there? I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and I am coming at you straight from the Wizard's Tower. How you guys doing out there? So, welcome to the Dark Side of the Room. And this is the show where we talk about all things nerdy, from tabletop miniatures to tabletop role playing games. And we're talking comic books and TV and pop culture and all that stuff. And how having a love for these things can possibly put you on the path to getting the life that you want versus the life that you got right now. So, I'm Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer. I am a wizard and a long time nerd. I mean, a long time nerd. And, of course, we are talking about all of this other stuff. So, I want to say thank you guys for showing up. I want to say, oh man, my phone is just like, hey, look, you want to control your thing? Now, ooh, sorry about that. Yeah, so today has been a little rough. It's been a little rough. Yeah, I will talk about that just a bit on the show today. And, yeah, do a couple of really little things to make the day go by a little quicker. Like I said, I just want to have a casual chat today. I could do the man. What is I'm like, what is going on? I'm like clipping with every single thing. Okay, that's better. Oh man. So yeah, so I'm just turning a lot of this stuff down. Okay. Yes. All right. I hope you guys can hear me properly. Let me take a look here. I hope you guys can hear me properly. That's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. That is a whole lot better um than what we had going before, cuz yeah. Cool. Yeah. So again, just doing a little bit of a time thing and yeah. So we made it through 2021, y'all. All of us. Y'all made it. We made it. I made it. Oh my God. So we got a couple of things to go through. Again, if you guys like what you see here and you guys want to be part of the Decker family, and I'm not talking that in that corporate speak kind of way. I hate that stuff. But yeah, if you find that you like what we do and you want to be a Decker too, well, that is easy. All you got to do is leave a comment right here saying, I want to be a Decker. Or you can, oh, I don't know, subscribe to the channel. That would be kind of cool. Also, yeah, what's up? We're actually on YouTube as well, so you can go subscribe there. But honestly, I would prefer if you subscribed here on Twitch. Also, you could easily, I'm a little tired, not of sorts today. I have been on the phone all day and I got hit with some stuff that I didn't plan on getting hit with. So if I'm a little out of sorts right now, please understand it's not you, it's me. Okay? It's not you, it's me. And yeah, so hang on, we're okay, yeah, that is what I'm looking for there. So you can also clock in over at Back in the Deck's Patreon at patreon.com/bid_p. There is a button underneath underneath the screen that you're looking at right now, and for $1, $10, all the way up to 100, depending on how involved you want to get, you can also be a decker. Now, if people are wondering, like, oh my God, why so many tiers? Well, that first column there, the jacks, the 10 jack, yeah, the, oh man. Like I said, I am just a bit out of sorts. I haven't had enough coffee today. But the first three tiers, the $1, $5, and $10 tiers, are what I actually use to pay the bills. So the Decker tier, the Ten of Hearts, or yeah, the Ten of Hearts, and of course the Jacks. That's what I use to pay the bills. The $20 and up go to our community outreach stuff. Most of it gets used for just that. And what is that, you might ask? Like, why should I care? Well, I go to underserved communities like Compton, Watts, Oakland, certain parts of Texas, certain parts of Nevada, and I'm working on reaching out to people in South Africa and Zimbabwe and a few other places to get them into the stuff that we do, the Dungeons and the Dragons, the miniature making, the terrain building, the 3D printer, because all of these things enrich our lives in ways that we don't even realize. The problem solving skills, the thing to do when you ain't got no money but you got the role playing books, and not to mention all of the stuff that comes along with having something to do with you and your buddies, or even reaching out into the world and finding out how many people actually do this stuff, and then you got friends all over the world. It's a really big thing. But in underserved communities, they don't even have access to this stuff. And when I say they don't have access, yes, they have Amazon, but they don't know what questions to ask. They don't know how to start learning. And in most underserved communities, there is a big stigma about not already knowing something, and the ridicule that people get when they are new. And they just, I'm trying to build a world without hazing, but I'm not going to build the entire world like that. So instead of building a world without hazing, I can at least, do what I can to help us do our hobbies and stuff without hazing. Like, I don't like gatekeepers. I don't think anybody likes being gate kept. So instead of yelling and screaming and being mad about it, I'm doing something about it. And if you guys want to do something about it too, join our Patreon at the $20 level and above and help us out with all this. And the Patreon are our royalty tiers, our queens, our kings, and our aces. Um, Pretty much match me pound for pound, like dollar for dollar, for what we do, including the archery courses and the sword fighting courses and the dance courses. I mean, we do a lot of stuff for the nerd stuff in case some people want to go to Burning Man and stuff like that, or get into 3D printing and stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff. I just want to pass on all of the things that I've done with my younger life, to the next generation of people that would love to do this type of stuff and just don't know where to start. So that's where that goes in. That is what we're doing. And let's have a casual chat. Now, I have been working myself to the bone for the past few weeks, trying to get everything to run more smoothly for 2021. Okay. I'm actually writing up the stuff for a GoFundMe just to make sure that I can get ahead of some of the stuff I have to do on the Wizard's Tower without without taking so long that fines and stuff start accumulating. So that's a thing. But yeah, so I have been game testing, or should I say, putting together a sort of review for a couple of games from a company called One Page Rules. Now, they didn't ask me to do this. I've been kind of playing their stuff. I've been fascinated with it for years now. Essentially, when I first started gaming, I saw some people playing Warhammer 40K, and they weren't very nice to me when I was trying to find out what was going on. So I tried going to a Games Workshop store like 10, 12 years later, and I got a whole bunch of bad stuff. Like, just a whole bunch of discrimination. The people at that store were pretty racist. And that put a bad taste in my mouth as far as the game and the company goes. But I was able, once I realized that it was that store particularly, that was doing some racist stuff, I'm like, well, maybe I can give this stuff a chance. But I was working at a game store at the time, and they were telling me about Games Workshop's business practices and why the store that I worked at, didn't actually carry much Games Workshop merchandise. And I'm like, okay, all right. I can't give you guys the thing because if they end up seeing this video, I might end up in a legal in litigations with them, and that just it's just but it's pretty bad. It's about as dystopian as their setting. But the models look really cool. Um, I mean that they look really cool, and from what I hear, the games are pretty good. Man, it really looks like I'm losing frames like left, right, and sideways here. Um, Hang on, let me do auto on this. Maybe I can go down to 720. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, so I'm doing that kind of thing, and I like the models. Nope, that ain't working very well. Interesting, because this is the editing bay and computer that I work off of here is hardlined into the internet. So I'm not using a wireless signal. Um oh yeah, no, I'll close that out. Yeah. It might just be because I'm using way too much RAM. So, like I was saying, hey fried one, happy new year. So yeah, so I found a game called One Page Rules that's a lot like 40K. It's pretty much 40K stripped down to where the rules work, and it can be printed on the front and back of a singular page. And they have a lot of pastiches for for the Games Workshop properties, and I like that a lot. Um, so I get all of the fun stuff from playing 40K and Kill Team and Necromunda. I don't know if they have a Blood Bowl thing, but I do know they have Battlefleet Gothic type rules. And I'm going, dude, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And they release models and they have a Patreon. That's like $100 a year for everything that you would pretty much need. Like they release so many STLs. I'm like, ooh, I want to try a Lizard Man army. Ooh, I want to try a Space Marine like army. Ooh, I want to do this. I want to do that. Um, and yeah, so I think, God, it was yesterday? No, 3 days ago. I did some changes to the 3D printer farm and it's working out pretty well. I really like the way that this stuff is working out with the 3D printer farm. Um, so I was able to build up a couple of things and print out a few things. And I'm like, yeah, this is looking to be the type of thing I want to do. This is good. Mm. And I have a lot of friends who've been playing the Games Workshop stuff for a long time. And I play the stuff with them to try and get some crossover things because God, there's this thing about being human, okay? When you're human, the thing that makes you fall in love with anything becomes the measurement by which you compare everything else to, you know? It's a regular human trait. It's a regular human thing. And I talk to my 40K friends, and they're like, no, it's too simple. No, it's this, no, it's that, no, it's that. And I've been trying to figure out why people who like certain games are so unwilling to try something other than what they already know. And we covered a lot of that in between Christmas and New Year's. But I wanted to expand a little bit on it. I was talking with my girlfriend this morning, and I'm like, okay, so if you really want to know what it takes to play a game like this, because we played War Machine from Privateer Press years ago. But I had a couple of armies, I was working regularly and I didn't have much to spend my money on because I didn't have high expenses. And so that was my hobby. That was the thing I did. So I had a couple of armies, and when I taught her how to play, it was okay. It was all right. A lot of the people I played with at the time really turned her off to tabletop minis games. And a lot of my tabletop minis friends have significant others that just don't care. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it that we can do to really appeal to that? Because some people, I have this thing where I tell you guys all the time, I don't have many beliefs, okay? And I don't. But one of the things I believe is um, a person can't just not care. They like when I see people going, it just doesn't interest me, to the point where if someone else does it, they will keep themselves occupied doing something else. I'm kind of like, I think there's something there. And, this could just be my wizard's eyes driving me crazy. Um, but the tough thing, and this is a really tough thing. Hey, what's up, Chat Attack? Thank you guys for being here. One of the tough things about getting people interested in something that they say they're not interested in is figuring out the why. Okay. Um, and I know a lot of woman players that I know, um, they might be interested in the thing. They might be interested in the game or the game mechanics. But a lot of these things, and this is one of the reasons that we're here, don't seem to have spaces for them. And when I say that, I know for years and years, like here in America, people are like, forced diversity, forced diversity. And I'm going, dude, I've been living under forced hegemony and forced homogeneity for my whole life. So just back off. Um, in a lot of the miniatures games that I've played, a lot of the fantasy games that I've played, there really haven't been anyone that looks like me. And my female players will let me know that the times that girls are involved in comic books and fantasy writing and stuff like that, they tend to always be an object of sexualization or or damsels in distress, but not characters with agency. They're characters defined by the same thing, either their relationship to a man or how much a man would want them. And I'm like, okay, I definitely get that. Um, Now, one of the reasons I'm big on miniatures neutrals games or miniature agnostic games is when you can use whatever miniatures you want, um, then you can mix and match race and gender and species and whatever. Just use what you got. And I'm a big fan of that, not just because of the financial thing, but because it opens the door to diversity and it kind of closes the door a little bit on the other people you play with going, but there are no girls space marines, where they gonna be some today? Or, oh, your characters are painted black, they must be salamanders. No, they're ultramarines, kind of thing. um for the people that don't have to go through those justifications every day, it gets exhausting. I let people know a long time ago I quit cosplaying because I kept hearing Spider-Man isn't black. Oh, you're dressed as Iron Man. Well, you must be Rhodey. Um, oh my God, a black Dr. Orpheus. I'm like, dude, stop. Being black is part of my identity, but it's not my primary definer. I'm more intelligent than I am anything else. Um, but I get that you can't see that from 60 yards, but it gets old. It gets really old really fast. So, I definitely get that a lot of times there doesn't seem to be a space made. So that being the case, um, as someone who teaches games and who really wants to believe what's the term I'm looking for? The advertisement of this stuff is for everybody, I can make a space for that. Now, dealing with the games workshop world, oh my god. So I'm looking into one-page rules, and it's interesting because a very good friend of mine who I talk to about a lot of this stuff, he and I both get really because a lot of places that don't get it do a not very effective attempt at inclusion, like salamanders are all black skinned. Okay. Battle Sisters are all women, but even then, they're not. And Necromunda, which is like a street level gang type thing. There's a gang of all girls, and it's like it doesn't have to be all girls in order for there to be representation of girls. It doesn't have to be all of the one thing. Just sprinkle in the integration and everything else, kind of like the way that the world is. Um, but it's okay because one page rules. It's like, yes, we have battle brothers. Is there a battle sister? That's a different faction, but yes, there are female battle brothers. There you go. You can have your girl knights. You can have, you can do your thing. Just get out there and do your thing. Um, but sometimes this is hard to sell. Okay, because again, I said the thing that we do at the beginning that makes us love something is the stick that we measure stuff by, and that was kind of inaccurate. The thing that gives us our first major feeling about something becomes our bellwether. Okay. And I got to say major feeling instead of love because, again, I was turned off to everything about Games Workshop because of my first experience. That means the lore, the models, the games, the game mechanics, everything about it. I stayed away from it for like 20 years. Now I'm studying the lore and I'm looking at the models and I'm like, dude, these things actually look pretty cool. Um, and I want to point out that the reason that this is important, okay, the reason that this is important and it's something that's worth talking about is there are so many things and hobbies out there that are loved by millions. And if one thing can turn you off from it, that means there's a lot more you're missing out on than what it is you're saving yourself from. I know a lot of people that I've talked to about tabletop role playing. They're like, I hate D&D. I hate this because I had a bad GM one time. And I'm like, dude, um, a module, a pre-written adventure for Dungeons and Dragons can be run by four different people and it will be four completely different experiences, just completely different each time. So when it comes down to it, that one thing that can turn you off isn't the whole of anything, you know? Um, I say something a lot when it comes to um living and all that stuff, when it comes to that one thing. All right, which is nothing is singularly simplified. Nothing. Okay? Um I don't gush and fall over the ground when I see furry animals. I'm not like, oh my gosh, a kitty. Everything in life has to stop while I pet the cat. Now, that doesn't mean I hate cats because I don't hate cats. A lot of people think I hate cats because they'll gush all day. And I won't. That's just not, I'm not like that. I will do that over certain reptiles, but yeah. But the one experience that a person has is not the totality of what that thing has to offer. You know? Let's see. What do we got here in the chat? We got Clever Vixen is saying I used to feminize action figures to play with relatives when I was younger. It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah, I know. I grew up in the 1980s, guys, and corporate advertising made me so embittered because real talk, I played with Barbie dolls because most of my relatives were girls and most of those girls had a bunch of Barbie dolls. So if we wanted to play with their toys, we were playing with Barbie dolls, especially since I didn't have many robots or action figures and stuff. Um so toys as toys, they're all imagination. And I noticed that as we get older, and we think that stuff is supposed to be a certain way, our imagination seems to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's not something that really serves us in life, Not in the lives that we want to live because we tend to make our windows for success smaller, okay? But when your window to success is this big, it's this big, the rest of the room by the process of elimination becomes failure. And happiness equals that? Nah. Maybe that. Maybe, maybe half the room, maybe three quarters of the room. It's a thing that I always challenge people to think about. Okay. And I know, if you were born from 1975 or more recently than that, there's been a lot of reasons to be afraid of things, to think that every new thing is going to suck or it's hard. And we're on the internet right now. And the internet is a fantastic place for saying that everything sucks all the time. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. I hate to put it that way. But the thing is, there are so many good things, so much fun to be had. There can be fun in defeat, there could be fun in victory, but having an open mind and being a free thinker widens your possibility for being so much happier, you know? Like I said, I've been looking at battle reports, and editing my own battle reports, and I'm like, okay, that model looks really cool. I think I want one. And I'll hit the internet to see if I can find an STL of it. And I'm like, okay, my stuff is pretty. Hey, thank you very, very much. What is this? Hosting. Yes. Yes, you're hosting. I'm on a separate channel. Thank you so much, Chat Attack. You're pretty awesome. Seriously, I do want to talk to you guys about your characters for the next game because I think people are leveling up and that is awesome. So yes, hosting, we're there. We're there. You are doing good stuff by getting me exposure and getting you Twitch time. This is fantastic. See? Teamwork. That is awesome. Um so yeah, I'm a big fan of widening the breadth of what can be considered fun. All right. This is why I play so many games. And I mean, role playing games, tabletop miniatures games, board games, card games, so many things because games are supposed to be fun. Um, I even watch a lot of video game playthroughs. Like that is my bag, baby. And I like fun that you can depend on. Um, Now I've been doing a lot of crafting in order to get our Friday show um hobby haul back on track, you know. I haven't been able to film for a while, but I got that going again, which is cool. Matter of fact, I think I can cut to the hobby haul. I got to do a little bit of cleanup there. But yeah, yeah, we've got that particular camera and that's going cool. I just have to think of some more stuff to make because if I'm going to make something, I want to play with it and I want to make sure that anyone can make it so I don't use advanced techniques or um or customized tools and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I love having a professional wire cutter. I love having 3D printers. Um but I want young people to start doing this, and not everybody has access to a $300 3D printer, a $200 foam cutter, just all of these different things. So I'm really, really doing my best to make sure that everybody can play, if you will. And so that's a lot of the stuff that's going on with that. And yeah, that's been some really cool things. The one page rule games that I've been playing have been super and duper as far as fun goes. One of the things I've been focusing on lately are skirmish level games because they're small. They're small. You can get in, you can play, you can get on with your day. And I do very much like playing I very much, excuse me, like playing games that don't take all day. Even if I set aside an entire day to play games, um, I really, I would rather spend the day playing multiple games, than playing one. You see what I mean? Because if you spend 8 hours doing anything, it's work. Okay. Um, so yeah, in one page rules, I'm a big fan of their model. It comes out cool. And, if you guys check out onepagerules.com, these are the game books, or these are the games that they have, for fantasy and sci-fi. And, my favorite part of it is that the rules are free. You can just download the rules and play with whatever toys you got, including Legos. Okay, Legos are perfectly fine. That's absolutely fine with that. If you want to play with Legos and body cap or bottle caps, that's fine. All you need are a bunch of dice, and it's all good. But since I'm showing it to you guys, I gotta have minis and all that stuff, and put the stuff on the interwebs. Since I'm a professional, I gotta make sure that stuff looks professional. But the barriers to a lot of these things are lowering and becoming easier to walk through and easier to climb over. And I want to share that. I want to share that with more people who might be interested or who would enjoy this stuff. From crafting to writing modules to running games to playing games. Um, that's why we're here. And yeah, I'm doing a bunch of workshops. I am very soon as one of the dudes from the chat attack actually gets his package from Steam Forge Games. Um, I'm going to have a show, hopefully this week, on how to use a module. And we're going to walk through it page by page, reading it, taking out stuff, looking up stat blocks. I'm going to walk you guys through my whole process for when I'm using a pre-written module and um my thought process, how to keep my notes so I can just pick it up and go forward. Um Especially since I'm running 3 games on this channel and I'm hoping to kick it up to 5. If I have it my way, I will be running a game, at least one game a week, um, on the evenings. So that's what we're going. But yeah, so that is the stuff that we were looking at. And the holiday season was a little rough for me, just a little bit rough, and that's a whole lot of personal stuff. But instead of not broadcasting today, I wanted to talk with you guys, let you know what we're up to, and say hey to all of my folks, like my royalty tiers on my Patreon, being the Queens, Laura Holton, Shannon Boom Boom Lay, Jennifer Krull, our Kings, Jason Hines and Christopher Chalmers, and our ace in the hole, Chaley Wardham, or Watson. So yeah, I mean, those are the ones that we got going. I'm actually doing the voiceover for the first battle report that we've released in like 8 years, and I'm kind of very excited about that. And if you're wondering why it takes so long, is because my editing style is based not on putting a camera over the game and just playing the game, but I want them to be a little instructional about every game I'm running a battle report for, so that if you guys don't know how to play the game, you can pick up on it. You can learn how to play the game by watching or by sitting down with the rule book and watching. So that's a little more challenging than just put a camera up, play the game, and let the people who already know what they're doing go, oh, yeah, look at me. I'm so clever. I'm like. And hopefully, the people who know what they're doing might learn a thing or two about a certain rule or just engage. That's the whole thing. Because I'm letting you new guys out there know most of the stuff that goes into role playing games and miniatures games and tabletop board games, it's 60% talking about it, 30% playing, and 10%, that last 10%, um, thinking about it for the next time we play. Like thinking about the last time for the next time. Um, Except with miniatures games where it's 30% playing, 40% building and painting, and the rest of it is talking about it. So it's real. It's a thing. And all of these hobbies I have found to be rather emotionally fulfilling, great uses of time. But I'm going to cut the show short today. I'm only going to do a half hour because I still have a couple of things I got to do regarding all of this. Got to call up the website because I know I've been talking about the merch store for like 2 years. I'm not very far from, I'm really not very far from actually starting it because I want to do something other than an Etsy store. I want to do something a little more for you guys. Um, but yeah, so if you guys got any questions or comments or anything like that, any suggestions or even any experiences of your own, And I know we all got experiences. That's real simple to talk to me about that. All you got to do is send an email to backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram. Head on over to the TikTok. I'm working on a couple of things over there. I know you guys are probably like, man, instead of just working on stuff, why don't you put it out there? Bah! And I'm like, I'm just trying to get you guys a lot out there. I want to give a shout out to my people right now in the chats and my lurkers like Casino Thanks, Fried One, Guten Tag. I think it's Kzips 06, Miracles of Minimum Wage, great to have you back, Painfulest, and of course the Chat Attack for hosting us and anybody watching over on the Chat Attack. As a matter of fact, I am about to check out whoever is watching on the Chat Attack because honestly, hosting me over here is great. I really love that you guys are doing that, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, just I'm not even sure how to find all this stuff. Don't worry, when you guys get middle-aged and there's new stuff like that, I promise there will be more. And you guys are like, oh my god, look at all that stuff. Yeah, so and there's new stuff like that, I promise. The 4 viewers that are here, that are watching from there, congratulations. Thank you for showing up. That is pretty awesome that you guys came in. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about a bunch more stuff, and I promise I will be more awake. And I will have much more to talk about because our shows go anywhere from a half hour long to 2.5 hour longs just in conversation. But if you guys are interested in learning how to play D&D or tabletop miniatures games, or learn to paint miniatures, or go over board games, or share your experiences and how they can actually relate to your lives, welcome here. It's all fun, and if you're curious or know someone who is, send them on down. This is the place where they won't get laughed at. They won't be called stupid. And if somebody tries to call them stupid, believe me, I'm liberal with the ban hammer. All right? But with that, I'm going to say thank you guys for showing up. Major shout outs to the people in my chat. Major shout outs to my patrons. And if anybody out there tells you that you can't like the stuff that you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, your disabilities, or your budget, you tell them to take any of those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining me on the Dark Side of the Room.